conviction is that the false interpretation and consequent misapprehension of the gospel is an error of such long standing. Even the strongest current of water cannot add a drop to a cup which is already full. The most difficult subjects can be explained to the most slow-witted man if he has not formed any idea of them already. But the simplest thing cannot be made clear to the most intelligent man if he is firmly persuaded that he knows already, without a shadow of a doubt, what is laid before him. The Christian doctrine is presented to the men of our world today as a doctrine which everyone has known so long and accepted so unhesitatingly in all its minutest details that it cannot be understood in any other way than it is understood now. Christianity is understood now by all who profess the doctrines of the Church as a supernatural, miraculous revelation of everything which is repeated in the Creed. By unbelievers, it is regarded as an illustration of man's craving for a belief in the supernatural, which mankind has now outgrown, as an historical phenomenon which has received full expression in Catholicism, Greek Orthodoxy, and Protestantism, and has no longer any living significance for us. The significance of the gospel is hidden from believers by the Church, from unbelievers by science. I will speak first of the former. 1800 years ago, there appeared in the midst of the heathen Roman world a strange new doctrine, unlike any of the old religions, and attributed to a man, Christ. This new doctrine was in both form and content absolutely new to the Jewish world in which it originated, and still more to the Roman world in which it was preached and diffused. In the midst of the elaborate religious observances of Judaism, in which, in the words of Isaiah, law was laid upon law, and in the midst of the Roman legal system, worked out to the highest point of perfection, a new doctrine appeared, which denied not only every deity and all fear and worship of them, but even all human institutions and all necessity for them. In place of all the rules of the old religions, this doctrine sets up only a type of inward perfection, truth, and love in the person of Christ, and as a result of this inward perfection being attained by men, also the outward perfection foretold by the prophets, the kingdom of God, when all men will cease to learn to make war, when all shall be taught of God and united in love, and the lion will lie down with the lamb. Instead of the threats of punishment, which all the old laws of religions and governments alike laid down for non-fulfillment of the rules, instead of promises of rewards for fulfillment of them, this doctrine called men to it only because it was the truth. John chapter 7, verse 17. If any man will do his will, he shall know of the doctrine, whether it be of God. John chapter 8, verse 46. If I say the truth, why do ye not believe me? But ye seek to kill me, a man that hath told you the truth. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. Keep my sayings, and ye shall know of my sayings, whether they be true. No proofs of this doctrine were offered except its truth, the correspondence of the doctrine with the truth. The whole teaching consisted in the recognition of truth and following it, in a greater and greater attainment of the truth, and a closer and closer following of it in the acts of life. There are no acts in this doctrine which could justify a man and make him saved. There is only the image of truth to guide him, for inward perfection in the person of Christ, and for outward perfection in the establishment of the kingdom of God. The fulfillment of this teaching consists only in the walking in the chosen way, in getting nearer to inward perfection in the imitation of Christ, and outward perfection in the establishment of the kingdom of God. The greater or less blessedness of a man depends, according to this doctrine, not on the degree of perfection to which he has attained, but on the greater or less swiftness with which he is pursuing it. The progress towards perfection of the publican Zacchaeus, of the woman that was a sinner, of the robber on the cross, is a greater state of blessedness, according to this doctrine, than the stationary righteousness of the Pharisee. The lost sheep is dearer than 99 that were not lost. The prodigal son, the piece of money that was lost and found again, are dearer, more precious to God than those which have not been lost. Every condition, according to this doctrine, is only a particular step in the attainment of inward and outward perfection, and therefore has no significance of itself. Blessedness consists in progress toward perfection. To stand still in any condition whatever means the cessation of this blessedness. Let not thy left hand know what thy right hand doeth. No man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of God. Rejoice not that the spirits are subject to you, but seek rather that your names be written in heaven. Be ye perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and its righteousness. The fulfillment of this precept is only to be found in uninterrupted progress toward the attainment of ever higher truth, toward establishing more and more firmly an even greater love within oneself, and establishing more and more widely the kingdom of God outside oneself. It is obvious that, appearing as it did in the midst of the Jewish and heathen world, such teaching could not be accepted by the majority of men, who were living a life absolutely different from what was required by it. It is obvious, too, that even for those by whom it was accepted, it was so absolutely opposed to all their old views that it could not be comprehensible in its full significance. It has been only by a succession of misunderstandings, errors, partial explanations, and the corrections and additions of generations that the meaning of the Christian doctrine has grown continually more and more clear to men. The Christian view of life has exerted an influence on the Jewish and heathen, and the heathen and Jewish view of life has, too, exerted an influence on the Christian. And Christianity, as a living force, has gained more and more upon the extinct Judaism and heathenism, and has grown continually clearer and clearer as it freed itself from the admixture of falsehood which had overlaid it.